Hey, hey. Hi, everyone. Renee here, aka Mama Jojo. I know y'all haven't seen me in weeks. As I said in my last video, this is the time of the year that I get really, really busy, and there's a lot going on. So I just wanted to do this really, really quick live to just put out a quick reminder for people who are looking to come to Africa or who are looking to invest in Africa to stay strong, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world right now, but it's not happening in Africa. And it's not happening in Africa because it can't happen in Africa. But there are a lot of things that are going to change, especially with this new this issue that's going on now between Iran and Israel, and these talks of wars and these rumors of wars. Um, to follow, it's going to be a really, really crazy situation where a lot of countries are going to get involved in this situation. A lot of people who are skeptical about thinking of coming to Africa, I am going to implore you to speed up those plans, make good, solid plans about relocating quickly, because this situation that is escalating is only going to make things more difficult. If you're trading, things are going to look a lot fuzzy, because now we're talking about a war zone where all of the ships have to sail through and go through. So with that being said, just be mindful of what naturally follows a wartime scenario. Is a recession, a depression, which the United States is already going through, and it's only going to continue to get worse. But in any event, I want to do this live to remind you to stay on your plans, stay strong. Don't just like, oh, it's going to happen someday. You actually have to make a plan, and I would implore you to make that plan quick. War is one of those things that people cannot predict. You will not be able to tell how long that situation is going to go on for. You're not going to be able to determine the cost of inflation, the cost of food, the cost of anything. Africa is an opportunity, but also be careful about where in Africa you go to, because there are countries in Africa where, you can own land and you can do this and you can do that, but we're talking about, recession-size inflation, where you don't necessarily have the kind of leverage in the currency that you think you may have when you go to these countries. So look for countries that have low inflation rates and low crime rate, and a good quiet track record of peace and quiet. Tanzania is one of those places, depending on what you're looking to do. My situation is, I am in the seaweed processing industry, and therefore we export. And Tanzania has some crazy rules and crazy laws and crazy things concerning getting out a simple export license. You have to be registered with the Tanzania Investment Center. You have to have X amount of money in order to do so. You need a variety of different things just to hold a simple export license. And those are some of the things that really hold a country back. It's really expensive to do that kind of business here. But I say that to also say this, that there are other kinds of business that you can do that doesn't involve large scale scenarios like that, where you don't necessarily have to put yourself all the way out there, as I did, sticking my neck all the way out and only for it to get chopped. But I am busy stitching everything back together and putting everything back in place and back in order. So stay strong on your African plans, stay strong on your on your goals, right? Stay strong on your mission. If your goal and your objective is to get your family out of there, wherever there is, which is the West, because whenever the United States enters a wartime situation, which the president has declared their unwavering support for Israel, and you all know my opinions on that. If you don't, You can go back to some other videos where I discuss certain things, which I don't really want to go into that in detail anymore. Right is right, wrong is wrong. What's going on in between Israel and Gaza is wrong. Where children are being killed every day. I don't want to get into those details, but in any event, the United States has pledged their unwavering support for Israel in their recent proliferation with Iran. And so, if you're not aware, last night Iran sent over 300 missiles to Israel overnight on Israeli soil. They sent drones and missiles to Israel. And that is in retaliation of Israel, taking over or assaulting the Iranian embassy. So it's tit for tat, going back and forth. In Jamaica, we have a saying, we say, cockroach no business in a full fight. Okay, let's be the cockroaches and scurry away. There's another popular saying, um, uh, when the ships are sinking, the rat jumps first. We need to be the rats. We need to get the hell up on out of there. We don't belong in those kinds of scenarios and those kind of situations where our livelihood, our income, our children's lives are at risk because of the decisions of our leaders. So back to my message. I'm still on brand Africa. I am still on, get the hell up on out, make a plan, make a good, reliable plan, and make it work for you. And also don't follow the naysayers and the people who are telling you, oh, it can't be done. I'm here to tell you it can be done. Look at this channel, it can be done. This lady, me, myself, and I, with my 4-year-old, came to Tanzania by myself. I knew no one here. I had no friends, no boyfriend, and nobody was waiting here for me at the airport but God. And that says a lot about my mindset, and it says a lot about my preparation. It says a lot about my intentions and my purpose. Okay, so you have to get to that place in your mind where God got you. Whatever, come hell or high water, God got you. This doesn't mean that you don't make good, solid plans and work those plans until those plans work for you. Excuse me, I'm also fighting a little bit of a cold here, so I'm having a small little sinus pinch happening right now. Okay. Okay, that hurt. Okay, so I'm going to cut this short. It is a Sunday night, probably a Sunday afternoon or morning for you, wherever you're watching from. And I have a lot to do to prepare Jojo for school, right? So I am still here. I still have my company. I am still working my plan. It's Africa, and it's not just Africa, it's Tanzania, which means temper your expectations, which means, it can get crazy and it can get expensive to do certain type of things here. Okay. But if you are not looking to get too serious about anything and just like come and, run a business, you can do that here. Okay. The issue that I experience might not be your experience. And I'm also working with a team where I'm building, working towards making the transition a whole lot easier in a way that makes sense, rather than, we as individual being divided all over the continent, and what works over here doesn't work over there, and so I'm trying to streamline things a little bit better. And I've been invited to be a consultant with a company that is working towards that. So I will reach out to other content creators who are in Africa. There is a very big difference between coming to Africa and staying, 3 months and then, oh, it's not for me, and then leave. There's a very big difference between that kind of person and the kind of person who is here come hell or high water and, is like, okay, it's tough, but it is what it is. I'm going to deal with it no matter what. There is a very big difference between that kind of mindset of people who decided, made a decision that this is it. Okay. So that is really where, you know, people have authority to speak on certain things. And on top of that, you have to also take your information from people who have documentation to live in the places where they are talking from. Okay. Because your experience, you can either choose to live in a first world country in the United States and a first world citizen of the United States and have all of the privileges of what the United States offers you, that you can just go and buy something, and you can just go and build something, and you could just go and own land, and you can just go and have anything that you want, and you can have the conveniences of society, and you can have all the comforts of a social structure that you have been now. Where y'all at? Right. So there is a very big difference between that mindset of a person and a person who is humble enough to say, okay, I am not a citizen of this country. I'm an immigrant in this country, and I will bow my head and I will humble myself and I will respect this country because I am not from here, and I want to understand how to live here and how to appreciate and respect the people who run this thing and what they're trying to do. There is a very big difference between that, and there is a different kind of mindset. You coming to Africa, you have to understand you are an immigrant. So anything you've ever dished out or talked negative down to or made other people feel bad for coming to America and working those little low-class jobs until they became the doctors and the lawyers in your society, whenever you have dished out, when you come here, you're only going to play that back in your mind. No one here is mistreating you or making you feel bad, but you yourself are going to play that back in your head and remember how you look down on immigrants, and that's what makes you feel inferior to being here. But no one here is making you feel inferior. You're not going to be made to feel like you don't belong here. The first thing you're going to say is, wow, I feel like I'm home, when you come to Africa. Okay. But you also have to understand, to do certain specific things, you don't necessarily have the keys to that society. You are going to humble yourself. Okay. Me, I'm humble to the third degree. I was born in Jamaica. I grew up in America. And so I could go and live in Jamaica all I want all day long. I can buy any land. I can get anything I want in Jamaica. Okay. But I don't want to live in Jamaica for my own reasons. I humbled myself and went to America. Again, I can buy anything I want, live anywhere I want, do anything I want in the United States of America. Okay. I've paid my dues. I've paid my taxes. I hold my documents. I hold my papers. So I can live comfortably in America. That America has all that, so much easier, right? And then I'm in Tanzania, where I am neither a citizen, I'm not a citizen, and I'm just down as just a Joe Schmo somebody. Okay. And I can appreciate that. I can respect that. I can understand that. Legally, that's the terms. But spiritually and consciously, I know I belong here. The people know I belong here. The professionals that I do business with know I belong here. My employees know I belong here. The whole universe knows I belong here. I don't need a piece of paper to say, oh, I am a Tanzanian citizen, and so I belong here. Oh, I feel great now. It doesn't mean anything. Really, it doesn't. So stop using those things as your mental blocks to say, well, I can't own land in Tanzania. Well, newsflash, Tanzania is a republic. Ain't nobody own any land. And the laws of the land are different in every single African country, everywhere you go. So in America, you basically don't own the land either. Miss your tax payments and see who comes to take it back. So do you really own, and can you really own something? No, not necessarily. Okay, so what you're looking at is to have and to hold. You want to hold something that you could pass down to your generations. Yes, if they tick all the boxes and do everything that they're supposed to do, and they have the money to maintain and the money to pay the taxes, those are the conditions of owning land anywhere in the world, right? So why not live in a place where the land itself has the sunshine and has all of the nutrients and has all of the natural resources that you're able to use that land to work for, to provide its own maintenance, its own taxes, its own income, while it takes care of you and your family, and you make a concrete plan for the long term and the long haul. Okay, so hey, Anne, how are you there? Yeah. So you have to be strong in your mind. When I say stay strong, I don't necessarily mean like, oh yeah, just hang in there. No. The energy that I'm trying to bring to you is an active energy. Okay. I'm an active person. I am not, cannot, will never be the person who thinks in their mind that it all comes from mental power. There's a lot that comes from physical power, from actually doing things. So if you're talking about coming to Africa, you need to get serious about your plan. Okay. And big ups to those who have come and stayed at the Exodus house, who have come and visited me, who has come and looked me in the face and sat and talked and had a conversation with me. Big up to the people who have done their consultations with me, because you bring questions that is important, and you come to the right place, because a lot of people have different types of lifestyles, and you have to be conscious of the kind of lifestyle that you're living and how you want to continue to live that lifestyle or live a different lifestyle when you come to the continent, right? So big up to the people who came, and I'm not throwing any shade on the people who left, but the people who are here, who are planting the seeds here and doing things by the way how the Tanzanian government or the whichever African nation government is telling you to do things. Those people have a wealth of knowledge and information that you would need to tap into. Okay, reach out to those people who are on the continent, who've been here for the long haul. And please, 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 please be conscious of the misinformation campaign that is being put out there to trash and harass and tear down a lot of the African content creators, the diasporan content creators. Okay, it has now become such an ugly and dirty word that many people don't necessarily want to continue to be recognized as a part of the diaspora, because there is just so much attacks and stigmas and negativity attached to it, right? And so I'm just going to try to ask you to go back historically in your mind and remember counterintelligence movements that were thrown out against the civil rights movements, thrown out against people who are activists. When we physically pick up ourselves and come to the continent and set down roots, we are now Pan-African activists. That is our title. We are Pan-African activists, because we're actively demonstrating our ability to reinsert ourselves into African culture. And people don't like that. So be conscious of, when you get information, how you're getting the information and who you're getting the information from. Are those people on the continent? Do those people make the kind of investments that is necessary, that set down stakes and set down roots, that will also bring and attract other people into the continent as well? You have to be very conscious of how you're receiving and accepting information, so that you yourself can be strong in your entry. And by the way, yes, Anne says there are many people who see it and hear it and don't recognize it, because they, uh, American history is very distorted, and it's not being taught in school. A lot of information is just like, oh, we're just not going to teach that part. Even in college, you have to do some digging. We're just not going to tell them. They're not going to know their history. And if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. Okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people are lost. They're lost in the sauce. They're lost. And when you see people providing a alternative or a counterculture perspective to things, then you are going to find the tear down and the rip down and all of this that comes along with it. So I'm going to ask you to use your own critical thinking skills, right? When it comes to connecting with people on the African continent, do not pay attention to the tear down people. Do not pay attention to the misinformation people. Do not pay attention to the counterintelligence people. They're not on the continent. They are not sweating in the sun. They're not suffering with us. They're not employing people. They're not trying to make it right. They're not doing anything but create more confusion and stare everybody away from Africa. Y'all need to get this really right in your mind. The misinformation that you see on Facebook and sometimes YouTube, telling people y'all not from Africa, you don't belong in Africa. Listen, right here at the Exodus house, I see a lot of things. Okay, right here in Tanzania. Do you know who I see dating up these Maasai guys? Do you know who I see dating them and sleeping in the huts with them and going all over with them? It's the white women from Germany. Yes, they have brought their sex tourism here, but they themselves are a part of the culture. They want to learn the language. They want to be seen as African, okay? And you can't tell them nothing. So what says you that even you got a little bit of color, you can't fathom in your mind coming to Africa? You can't fathom in your mind finding an African husband. You can't fathom in your mind, maybe I can see what I can find over there. But we put all of these barriers in front of us. I'm not doing that. I'm not sleeping on the floor. I'm not doing that. Yeah. Meanwhile, Gertrude, she's here sleeping on the floor and owning a couple of acres of land that Dube Masai gave her as a wedding gift. Okay? So get your priorities right. Figure it out. Figure it out. Wherever it is that you need to go, do your research, get on your plan, work your plan, make your plan work for you. If you need some guidance, go ahead and send me a email. This is my email address, okay? And I'm speaking now on this because things have escalated in between Israel and Iran, which is not a good thing, okay? And we, the cockroaches, we cannot afford that kind of situation, okay? We can't afford the inflation. We can't afford the recession. We can't afford the war. We can't afford it. We cannot afford it. My generation, we lived through some crazy stuff. We lived through 9/11. We lived through global recession. We lived through a global pandemic. Who can survive all of that? Who can survive all of that? Homes in America are empty because people cannot meet the criteria to get into those houses. Cars are not being sold fast enough because people don't meet the criteria. They have turned to robotics for these factory jobs. They have turned to AI for creative arts. They've turned to everywhere else to try to keep the ball out of your reach. Okay? There are jobs in America that need to be filled, but they want to keep the immigrants out of those jobs. Ask any restaurant owner in New York City. You can't hire people. You can't hire people. There is no jobs out there because those jobs don't really pay well enough to pay the astronomical rent in New York City. So they depend on migrants and they're trying to keep them out. Okay, so listen, the increase of people coming here has increased in the past few years since I've been here. 2020, I didn't know anyone here. There were like one or two other people here when I got here. 2021, the floodgates open. 2022, things started to peat out. Okay. And 2023, I'm seeing nothing but white folk up and down coming, invading up over here. Okay. They're here and they're coming. They're trying to get the hell away from whatever is going on. Okay. In the past few weeks, I have seen more and more. They are leaving. They're leaving in droves and they're leaving with their little blonde hair kids. They're getting the hell on out of there. I do not blame them. I see nothing wrong with them. Some of them smile at me. A lady in Voda talked to me that she's watched a few of my videos and that's why she's in Tanzania. I am proud of them for getting the hell up on out of there. If your mind is not conditioned to understand these situations, you're only going to continue to perpetuate the cycle of misery and confusion generationally. Get the hell up on out of there. This is not going to go well. War with Iran. Iran? We can't tolerate that. We're not going to be able to survive. These people, these Middle Eastern people, okay? But God bless them. God bless my Muslim brothers and sisters. I love them. Here in Tanzania, we all live as one and we're very peaceful and loving. But they don't have one or two children like us, or three or four. No, they have multiple children. They have the children like we used to have back in the day, like 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? I would never dare to think to go up against a population that outnumbers us vastly and uses and holds on to religion as their right, just like Israel, just like Iran. This is not a dog and pony show, y'all. This is not going to go well. I said it a few months ago when I talked about when the situation started in Israel. Now we are here. We are here. Figure it out. Get your little credit card going. Sell your property, rent your property, get the car gone, make a plan. You buy this. I have been talking to y'all for years. In July, we'll make my 4-year anniversary. I have been saying the same thing for 4 solid years. Don't wait until it is too late. Don't wait until you cannot get out or you're too afraid to fly. Okay? Because those situations are situations you do not want. You don't want. You don't understand the kind of inflation that is coming for you. Let me tell you something about war. You have never, in America, no matter what the situation is, you are all insulated. You have never gone to the supermarket and want eggs. Yes, it's expensive, but you can get it. You have never gone to the gas station and want to buy gas. And yes, it's expensive, but you can't get it. You've never seen the situation where you cannot get gas to put in your car. You have never had the situation where you can't buy wheat and you can't buy sugar and you can't buy oil and you can't buy eggs. You have never been in that situation. You're going to experience hyper exotic inflation. You think eggs are expensive now following this global pandemic? Watch. This is not going to be fun. Okay? So y'all waiting for it to get back to normal after COVID? And I said it would never be normal because what was before COVID was not normal, was unnatural. We haven't had any kind of natural life since before 9/11. 2001, September the 11th of 2001. We have not had anything that looked remotely similarly close to normal since that time. So what you have learned, come to condition yourself as normal and expecting things to come back to normal in the United States, it's not going to come normal. It's not going to be better. It is, as we can see by the numbers, by the economic numbers, by the unemployment rate, by the Fed rate, it's only going to get worse. Okay, so if you can, and if you can make a plan and do what you can, stay strong to your plan, adhere to your plan, and get up on out of there as soon as you possibly can. This is not a warning. I have things to do. I am taking some time out of my afternoon, my evening. Jojo goes to school tomorrow. I got a ton of stuff to do, and I'm making this video specifically to say, y'all need to do what you need to do. You don't want any parts of that fight. You don't want any parts of it. You cannot afford any parts of it. It is not going to be good for you generationally. It is not going to be valuable to you. It is not going to be an exciting adventure for you. It is only going to be weapons and death and costly debt and inflation and more pain and sufferation. Come ye to the promised land. Come ye to Africa. Find, you don't what you don't like how Tanzania has been and how it's treated me, because I've been very vocal about and transparent about my experience. That's okay. We got Kenya. Okay, you don't like Kenya? That's okay. We got Botswana. That you don't like all them diamonds and gold they got in Botswana? That's okay. There are many other places that you can go. There is Uganda. There's Rwanda. Oh, godly. You have choices galore. Find somewhere, pick somewhere, make a plan. Granted, the plan that you have been working for the last 20, 30 years in America is not going to work over here. You're going to have to be a completely new animal, and you have to be teachable and coachable. You think you know things when you come because you're like, oh, I got it off of YouTube and I got the information, and you don't. You really don't, unless you are living here, out here, and sweating here and going through the ins and outs and the curves and turns. There are things that we cannot speak on YouTube. There are things that we cannot discuss on YouTube. There are things that we have to keep to ourselves on YouTube. But when you come here, you are not going to know until you are here. And you're not going to have the knowledge and the experience until you get here. That's the truth. So if you really want to know how it goes, as Rumi says, if you make the step, and the way will appear. Okay? The Chinese people say, journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Turn off the Netflix, stop the doom scrolling, stop just like zoning out and numbing yourself. This is real. It's only going to get wasara. Okay? Africa Dea, Exodus House Dea, send me an email. Let's do some consulting. Make your plan. If you want to come here, we book the Exodus House. I still keep it private for y'all. So let me know what y'all want to do. Let me read some of these comments. Yeah. Anne says, history keeps repeating itself. That is, we allow ourselves to miss the boat while we watch others get in, then we complain. We moan a lot. It's what we are good at, while others move in silence. There you go. That's it. Anne says, Gertrude. Yes, Gertrude has always acted as an agent for people. That is correct, Anne. Gertrude, she comes. And she comes and she brings her father. She comes and, she's with her Maasai husband, and they get a little place. And then, she brings her father, and then she brings her sister Hilda, and her sister Hilda ends up finding herself a Maasai husband too. And when you look, they're a part of this whole clan and tribe. And they're and I mean, I understand why Gertrude be coming to Africa. I do get it. I don't like it per se. What I see since I've been in Africa, and I may be wrong, but from what I see, is there are a lot of women who get a sense of superiority by being white, by being able to, oh, somebody's going to want me because I'm white. And unfortunately, that is the reality when they come to Africa. And they aren't necessarily here for like love. And white women know how to trade in their femininity. They know how to trade in their womanhood. They know that because that's all they had. Meanwhile, we Black women who went through the experience of slavery, we had to be mommy and daddy in the household. We had to be providers. We had to build houses. We had to build businesses. We had to learn how to trade with men and survive in the world where white women have been traditionally trained to deal through men, and so they're able to weaponize their femininity in a lot of ways that we, not that we can't, but that we are trained and groomed by nature to do. Okay, so that is some of the issues that you see with the people who are coming here, right? They're not necessarily here for the love of Africa. They're here because they can get what they call love in a way where it's meaningful to them. Like, I am superior to you, and you're always going to chase me because you don't want someone else to get me because I'm the white woman in the room. I'm the white woman in Africa. And that is a part of the psyche. But, you know, because like, I mean, Germany is filled with men. Why would you come all the way to Africa to live in a village? Because you can get that land and you can get that man, and that man is going to give you access. Meanwhile, Shaquana and them are complaining about not finding a man and not coming to Africa. Okay, because we can't step down. We don't want to step down. We don't want to step down of our independence, our identity, what makes us feel like we are women, or what makes us feel valuable. We can't step down from that. We always want to step up. Okay, and we want a man with a big house, and we want the man with the big car, and we want, you know, we want all of these things. But the man with the house and the car, your name is not on the house and your name is not on the car. So Gertrude and them, they know that their name and their children is going to inherit that land. So they don't give a damn if they have to bathe in the river. They don't give a damn about no big house or no big car where their name is not even on it. They don't care. They don't care, right? So anyway, I think I've said too much and I've said enough. Gonna link me, right? Um, I am here in Tanzania. I am in Dar es Salaam. If you're seeing my videos for the first time, my name is Renee. I go by Mama Jojo. Everybody around here calls me Mama Jojo. You know, I've think I have shown myself to be someone who can make Africa work if you have a specific kind of mindset and you can hold on to your vision come hell or high water. You know, this is what another thing I'm going to say to you all is, if you have a vision, whether you want to mine diamonds or dig for gold or plant some pineapples, if you have a vision, that vision is going to create its own way. But unless you start working through that vision, unless you start working on that vision, you're not going to achieve. Okay. And yes, there will be bumps in the road. Like me, I went on a bump in the road and a down in the hill, and now I'm on the side of the mountain, you know. But while I'm on the side of the mountain, the United Nations has come to me. While I'm on the side of the mountain, the World Bank has come to me. While I'm on the side of the mountain, you know, there are so many people who have come to me because I have put and created and delivered, and I got the pictures and the receipts to prove it. Okay. But there has to be better ways of doing things, and I'm working on those ways right now. Right. So, but what I'm trying to say to you is, unless you decide you make a conscious decision to work on your plan is not going to work. It's that simple. If you're not going to work on your plan is not going to work unless you are going to believe and be slightly delusional and be slightly insane to say, come hell or high water, broke or not, I'm going to do this thing that God put in my mind to do. Unless you are working that way, you are not going to have success. Okay? And it doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter who believes you, who believes in you, who wants to throw dirt on you. Let them throw the dirt. You need the dirt sometimes so you can sprout some roots and put out some new branches. Let them throw the dirt. Let them, use their mouth. God knows who you are and what his purpose is for you. God is the one who gives us our imagination and our visions, and we cannot have anything unless we have vision. You can't, it's not possible. You're not going to get it unless you have vision. Okay. And so you have to work your plan, work your vision, find the ways, get a notebook, write down stuff, look for new avenues, look at your skill set, make a life that fits you, that you fit into that life. Okay. Don't just do something because other people said to do it, because if somebody else said to do it and it does not correlate with your life and your lifestyle or who you want to be, where you are in your life right now, it will be a miserable experience for you. You don't want that. What you really want is to have a comfortable life, that you have time to yourself in order to take care of yourself and your family, and you want an experience that brings you money while you're doing something that fulfills you. That's what you want. Okay. So look at your skills, look at the opportunities, look at where you want to go, look at Africa. Y'all run into Mexico. Nothing wrong with Mexico, but it's not going to be me. If I have to learn a language and I have to be fluent in a language to survive somewhere, it will be an African language. Okay, nothing wrong with Mexico. Mexico have great healthcare. Mexico is fantastic. Simona Rungo, where? Dominican Republic, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But as for me and my house, we will be in Africa. That's where I want it to be, and that's where I choose to be. And I deliberately did not settle with anyone who didn't embrace that vision, because I did not want anyone to deter me or take me away from that goal. And I feel very fulfilled that I'm on the continent and I have projects that make me feel like I am here for a purpose. Okay, so think on these things, right? Yeah. And says, don't forget the car depreciates in value. Yes. So while you're watching the man and his big flashy car, the car depreciates in value. Okay. Though while you're watching, oh, he come and pick me up in a BMW. Okay. That depreciates in value. All right. Oh, he got a big old house. Is it in your name? How much money does that house bring to you? Right. So women, you'll have to change your mindset. And I also want to say something to Tanzanian before I forget. This was what I've been meaning to make this note. Yeah, there we go. So Tanzanian women, there are some men who are coming to Tanzania, who are coming to Africa, okay? And you're allowing your young daughters to go out with these men, leaving them pregnant and spreading diseases. HIV has been increasing since these passport bros have been coming into Africa and coming into Tanzania and coming into Kenya. Okay, ladies who have your young daughters and your cousins in the villages, please talk to them. You have a culture and a custom that derives on a dowry system. Some man from Europe or America or wherever wants to come to your daughter, he has to pay his dowry. He has to do the same thing. Don't give these foreigners any passes. Okay, I had a talk with someone who is in the Tanzanian version of the Centers for Disease Control, that there has been an increase in child fatherless pregnancies and diseases in Tanzania, and it correlates with all of these passport bros who are running in and out of the country and taking advantage of these young ladies who are groomed for submission and who are trained to serve and support their husbands. Ladies, mothers, please put a lock. I cannot say this enough. Lock and key on your daughters. Keep them away from the foreigners. If she wants a foreign man, let him pay his dowry. Let him pay for her, because there is a lot of things that are happening that should not be happening. People are coming into Tanzania and getting these young ladies pregnant and leaving them here and increasing the disease rate of STDs in this country, and leaving these third world people to battle and suffer for themselves, while you go on back to America and feel so good about it and post your pictures on Instagram about what you did when you came to Africa. Tanzanian mothers, Tanzanian women, please keep your young ladies away. Men, I understand how your culture is. You're groomed and you're trained to be submissive and supportive of a man, because a man is everything. Yes, and that's still very strong and well and good, but you also have in your culture a very strong culture surrounding taking care of the woman. He must. It. Ladies, keep your little daughter away. Okay, so that's one of the things. Yes, it's happening in Kenya. See, Anne confirms it, and is in my DM, my messages saying it's happening in Kenya also. Okay, so anywhere in Africa, by the way, I'm talking about Tanzania because I have the statistics data to factually back up what I'm saying. Okay, but all over Africa, you African mothers, put your daughters under lock and key. Don't let these slick talking foreigners come up and run up on your little young girls, spoil them and leave the burden and the shame on you. No, 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 ma'am. They're doing things they can't do in America. They are doing things because you don't have what we have in America. You don't have a child services system where you can get child support for the child. You would never imagine in a million years that this guy who is up and down with your daughter every day, that he would just disappear. He would just say, oh, I need to go back to France or Germany or America to go, get some money and do that. And I love you so much and blah, 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 blah. And boom, that's it. You never see him, hear him, WhatsApp, blocked and all them something there. Ladies, mothers, Tanzanian women, African women, keep these foreigners away from your children. Keep them away from your children. I am imploring you. If they want your child so bad, okay, he can only visit at home in the living room with the family, with everybody sitting around and watching. The same laws that you have when it comes to keeping men and women separated, you need to apply this to these foreign men. So just like how the men can't be alone with a young woman in your culture, in your African culture, but you give a pass to the foreigners, don't do that. Don't do that. Stay strong on your culture. He wants to come around and he likes her so much. He comes around every evening. Y'all sit in the living room, you eat, you laugh, he goes. Okay, he wants to marry her. He pays his dowry. He does what he's supposed to do. He gets a piece of land, and he lives happily ever after with your daughter. But they are abusing these young women in ways that no one else is talking about. And I have seen it, and I've seen more of it, and I'm hearing more about it. But I just heard from someone that if I can talk on it, I should, and I did. And I'm so glad I remembered that I didn't have to make a whole new video for this. Anyway, I got some schoolwork for JoJo to, go and sort through. I have some projects that I'm working on as well. I just want to get out of this hump where I am, and then I'm going to start posting more regularly. And then I can, get you all a lot more consistent information. But there are just some things that I touched on, and some things I needed to say, and I'm so glad I said it. I remembered to say it. So from Senegal all the way to South Africa, lock up your daughters and keep them out, away from these foreign men. It's out of control. It is out of control. There is one company that I was talking to that they have done 9 campaigns, 9 across East and East Africa and Nigeria and Ghana and South Africa. They've done 9 campaigns on STD awareness because there is an increase in HIV. And since some people start getting passports and coming to Africa and posting, oh, these girls are so easy. Oh, these girls are fantastic. And their bodies, oh my God, their bodies. And they don't know the first thing about taking care of a woman. They don't know the first thing about supporting a woman, being a husband, being a father, standing in place, being a provider, being a carer. Okay, they're just after easy sex and pretty girls. And I'm so sorry that my young African sisters are getting caught up in this, because the culture is teaching you, which I also find to be very wonderful. I think it's wonderful that women are groomed and trained and know how to behave for their husband. I think that is good. But the husbands in your culture are also trained to be providers for those wives. And our culture is not trained like that. Our men are not trained like that. No, sir. Our men have no training. They have none whatsoever. So if these foreigners are showing up to your village or showing up looking for your daughter or whatever, put them through the same male training, send him to the villages, let him go sit with the elders underneath a tree and understand his responsibility. Do not give any free passes to these goddamn people, because all they're doing is ripping up your culture. They're ripping up your culture, and it's very sad to see. Okay? Anyway, gotta go. Love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. This is my email. For those of you who would like to send me an email and have a chat, or who would like to do consultancies with me, I mostly do consultancies with business people who have plans and projects. And if you don't have a plan or a project, I can help you to settle one or get one together for you to get you to where you need to go. Okay. Bottom line, get the hell up on out of there. Get out. Out, 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 out. It's time to get out. Okay, make your plan, get out. Email me. I have a place for you to stay, and I can do consultancies to help you and guide you on your journey. Okay, love y'all. Bye. Good night, and thank you so much. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Okay. All right. Bye, guys. Gotta go.